What's up guys, it's Cozmos here, and in this video I'm going to be covering my updated keybinds and settings for beginners and experienced players that will help you get better FPS and lower your input delay, especially for those of you who are on low-end systems. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. And jumping right into the settings, I am on full screen instead of windowed full screen because full screen does actually give you the lowest input delay possible. And for my resolution, I'm using 1920 by 1080. If you guys would like to know more about stretched resolutions and if you should use one or not, there are some pros and cons to using a stretched resolution. I did cover that more in depth in my competitive settings video, so after this video, if you would like to check that out, the link will be in the description. And for my frame rate limit, I have it set to 240 FPS as I am using a 240 Hz monitor. And for my brightness, I have 125% because this season, the brighter the better. Having your brightness as high as you can possibly put it is obviously going to be the best. It helps you to see in the storm better and just see enemies a whole lot easier, and the game just looks a lot better at a higher brightness. And following that, I am using Triton 07 just to give it that extra level of brightness and just to make the game look better as well. And then for my graphics quality settings, I have my 3D resolution set to 100%. However, if you are on a low-end system, I highly recommend setting this to about 90 to 80% because at that percent, you won't sacrifice too much game quality, but you will be getting a bit more performance out of your system. So if you are running on a low-end system, maybe bump it down to about 80% or so, but the lower you go, obviously the worse quality your game is going to look, so don't go below like 65% if you don't have to. And then for my view distance, I have it set to medium. Medium is just the perfect view distance for this season in my opinion, and to be honest, you really don't need your view distance to be on epic. In my opinion, there's really no need for it. Yeah, sure, you can see further, but again, it's gonna give you less FPS and it's gonna make your game probably run a bit worse. It gives you way more than enough view distance, so medium is perfect. And then my textures are on medium and my meshes are on low. And then for my advanced graphic settings, I have VSync turned off, show FPS turned on or off. You will not see a performance difference with show FPS on or off. It doesn't really matter. It's just a little counter. It doesn't give you more or less FPS if you have it turned on or off, so just whatever you guys would like to do for that setting. And then for my rendering mode, I do have performance mode on. I know in my last settings videos, I always use DirectX 11. And now the reason I actually did end up making the switch to performance mode was because of the added performance that I got out of it. So if you are on a low-end system, performance mode is a literal must. It gives you so much more FPS, and it is overall just the god tier rendering mode for those of you on low-end systems. And I know some of you watching this video might not be on low-end systems and could actually benefit from using something like DirectX 11 or DirectX 12, but for those of you on low-end systems, performance mode is going to be your best friend, and it's going to give your FPS a much needed boost, and it's going to help you squeeze as much FPS as you can out of your system. So in my case, I'm on a medium-end system, and I still prefer to have performance mode on because it just gives me the most FPS possible. And now for my in-game settings, I have toggle sprint turned off, sprint by default turned on, sprint cancels reloading turned off, and then for auto open doors, I do have it turned on. The reason I have auto open doors turned on is so that if I'm tunneling in game, for example, I don't need to click an extra key on my keyboard to open the door, as it's going to do it automatically for me, so I don't actually have to worry about doing that myself. And that's just very useful so you don't get caught on your tarp and end up dying because of it. It just opens it automatically for you and it makes your life a whole lot easier. And then for my combat settings, I have hold to swap pickup turned off, toggle targeting turned off, mark danger when targeting turned on, auto pickup weapons turned off. And then here is my configuration for my preferred item slot settings. So for my first slot, I have my shotgun, second slot is my SMG, my third slot is my AR, my fourth slot is my sniper, and my fifth slot is my shields and meds and stuff like that. Auto store consumables to the right, I have that turned on, even though I already have it configured here, so there's no reason for me to have it turned on, but whatever. And then for my building settings, I have reset building choice turned off, disable created option turned off, turbo building turned on, obviously, and confirm edit on release. And this is a bit of a controversial setting, as I mentioned in my competitive settings video. I don't want to make this video super long, so I'm not really going to get into it. It's honestly just a personal preference setting. Confirm edit on release works for me in my playstyle personally, so that's why I choose to have it turned on. But again, you have to just play with it and see if you like it or not, and if you don't like it, turn it off, and if you do like it, keep it turned on. But obviously it's always going to be up to you at the end of the day. These options here are not very important, so if you'd like to copy them, go ahead and do so. It doesn't really matter. And then for my game UI settings, I have my HUD scale set to 80. I find it the perfect balance between it being big enough and not too small, so having it at 80 just allows you to see exactly where you're going and exactly where you have to go perfectly, so you don't need to open up your map and take a look from there. It's just the perfect size in my opinion. And then the rest of these settings I'm not going to go over. If you'd like to copy them, you can go ahead and do that, but I'm not going to cover them obviously. If you would like to pause the video, go ahead and do so. And then for my sensitivity, I am using 8.8% in both my X and Y axis, and I am on 800 DPI. Both my targeting and scope sensitivity are on 35%. I find this to be an extremely extremely comfortable sensitivity for me. It's not too high, it's not too low, it's like smack dab in the middle. It's really good in my opinion, and I just personally like it a lot. And then for my controller settings, I'm not on controller, so don't copy these. And then for my audio settings, I have my main audio set to 50%, my sound effects set to 50%, the rest of these are set to 0. And then in my sound settings, these aren't very important, but I did want to go over visualized sound effects. Pros like Bugga have actually opted to keep this setting turned on, and that's because of the added benefit of being able to see where enemies are, Spider-Mans, reboots, chests, all that kind of stuff, just much easier, and you don't have to rely on audio, because let's be honest here, the audio in Fortnite is not the greatest. So having this setting turned on is honestly pretty good. I had it turned on for like 8 seasons, and I personally actually chose to turn this setting off after like 8 seasons of using it, and that's because I heard some rumors that this could actually make your game stutter. I don't know how true that actually is, but if it is true, I just turned it off to be safe, and honestly, it doesn't really matter if I have it turned on or off, because for me, having it turned off just makes my videos look a lot better, and it makes them look a lot cleaner, I guess, so you guys don't see a whole bunch of stuff on my screen when I'm recording background gameplay or something like that. But honestly, if visualized sound effects does give you game stutters, they probably aren't very big stutters, so honestly, it doesn't matter if you have this turned on or off. You can still be a good player regardless. But if you'd like to see reboots or Spider-Mans or anything like that a lot easier, go ahead and turn it on, because honestly, it's a pretty good setting, and I'm not sure how true the rumors are about it, so it's all up to you. And then for my keybinds, these honestly have not changed much since my last settings video, but I am using WASD for my movement, my jump is on spacebar, my auto run is on equals, my crouch is on left control, my reload is on R, my use is on E, my harvesting tool is on tab, my weapon slots 1 through 5 are on 1 through 5 on my keyboard, crouch while building is on left control. And now for my main building keybinds, I'm using thumb mouse buttons on my mouse. If you do not have a mouse with side mouse buttons in 2022, I really don't know what you're doing. Just go on Amazon and search up mouse with side mouse buttons and pick up the first option you see. They're like 10 bucks. You can get a mouse with side mouse buttons, and it's going to make your game a lot better. It's going to be just better for you as a player, so you don't have to click a whole bunch of buttons on your keyboard. It just makes life a whole lot easier. So get a mouse with side mouse buttons and come back to this video. But I am using thumb mouse button 1, which is my back mouse button, as my wall. My floor is on Q, my stairs are on thumb mouse button 2, which is my forward mouse button. My roof or my cone is on C, my trap is on T, my repair / upgrade is on G, my rotate building is on R, my building edit is on F, and of course we are using a scroll wheel reset. And to enable scroll wheel reset, all you have to do is click the second option right beside your building edit, and then scroll wheel up or down. It's just personal preference. I personally choose to do scroll wheel up, and then you guys will see your building edit and then mouse wheel up or down, whichever you decided to do. And then to finish off setting up scroll wheel reset, all you have to do is go down to reset building edit, click the first option, then mouse wheel up or down, and then that is it. Just click apply and you're all good to go. And then for my communication settings, these aren't very important, and I honestly don't think most of these settings are very important at all anymore. I'm pretty sure we went through all the main settings, but my emote is on B, my map is on M, my inventory is on G, down, banana, carry, place, everything like that is on F. And then the rest of these settings aren't very important because they're all just vehicle settings. And that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. If you did find this video helpful, a like and sub would be greatly appreciated. And while you're on Fortnite changing your settings, please take a couple of seconds to pop in code Cozmos in the item shop, because it is the best way to support me. And with all that being said, guys, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one.